As someone who grew up playing the original Guild Wars, I have a very special affinity for the game. I spent countless, or at least a lot of hours on the game, and still play it to this day. I do enjoy Guild Wars 2, and I think it is a magnificent game, but to me at least, it is not truly a Guild Wars game, which makes it so hard to love it as much as it probably deserves. In a time when MMOs were trying to be better clones of each other, Guild Wars set out to be a different and quite unique experience, and I believe, and a lot of other people believe, that it succeeded in that greatly. The storytelling, the unique skill system, the equipment, everything else that made up the game. Guild Wars just made a huge mark on the scene and put up a serious challenge to the big hitters that were already in the genre, like World of Warcraft and RuneScape. Naturally, after such a long time, they announced a sequel to the game instead of continuing with the expansion model they had used in the years previous. And the hype was real. Everyone got on that hype train. The second game, however, is not Guild Wars. It's set in the same world, follows the same lore, albeit 250 years later, but the game fails monstrously to recreate the same unique charm that the original had, aside from one thing, and that is that the storytelling in Guild Wars 2 is absolutely bloody amazing, at least after the main game concluded. Guild Wars 2 jumped on the action combat hype train and focused on featuring cliche systems such as underwater combat, personal that aren't really personal and pretty shit in the first game, at least the story. It took all the uniqueness the first game had and threw it out the window to piggyback off the lore that had been set up beforehand. And that was a huge hit for many players, me included. The original game had such an intricate skill system where each class could use literally any skill, and the best ones had to be tracked down and captured from elite monsters in the world, where the sequel limited classes to weapons instead of having unique skill sets. The first game felt so rewarding to go out and capture this skill which was just so much better than all the others, and it took a lot of time and dedication to go around and get them all. There was hundreds and hundreds of them. As someone who thought the best part of the original was being able to solo endgame dungeons because of the mixed skill set and having a high personal skill level, the absence of this in Guild Wars 2 really hit me hard when trying to transition from one game to the other. There are also other things which changed for the worst, such as the move to a rarity tiered equipment system, making the high skill level thing just a trivial experience. They promised a living world, but the events in the world simply limit access to areas and run like 10 minutes later to unlock that area. In a system like that, you truly need gated content to justify something epic. You can't just have something on a repeating cycle. You need something where this town has been destroyed for weeks. Everyone in the community has been trying for ages to build it back up and get it working. Always one big project. Otherwise, it doesn't make any impact on anyone. It's more of an annoyance than anything. It took very many updates and at least the first expansion for me to see Guild Wars 2 as a game worth my time. It took what I loved in the first game and had spent most of my teenage years playing and turned it into a bog standard, just good MMO that was just a bit of a standout amongst many others which are essentially the same. Now, don't get me wrong, the game does look incredible and is very well made with many things to love. It's just not part of the world that I fell in love with back in 2004. And it hurts to think that they abandoned such a unique and successful game to make something which is just considered standard in today's market. All these games have to reach a certain level of finesse to be appealing to the audience. And Guild Wars 2 is simply of that finesse, where Guild Wars 1 went above and beyond that finesse. It was just so impactful for so many people. It's like there's a line and Guild Wars 2 is just slightly above it, which, to its credit, is apparently quite hard to get over at this time. Please see Bless Online. While I do enjoy it now, and will play for the foreseeable future until something unique comes along again, if ever, It's not really ideal, and I am anxiously awaiting the next big thing to come and hopefully blow my mind again.